Okay, everyone. In this video, I want to make a review about the Mortal Kombat 2 movie film that I watched this movie last weekend, and I want to give my thoughts on it because I think it was a really interesting movie. Yeah, so the first thing I want to talk about is like the plot and stuff and what I think about the main character choices because this movie was really focused on two characters specifically, which were Kitana and Johnny Cage. And I think it's really cool. First of all, let me just say that I think it's really cool that Johnny Cage was uh kind of the main character of the film, I mean, even though I know like the story kind of revolved around Katana a bit more because the movie started with showing Katana's background, as a kid, when Katana watched her father die to Shao Kahn. But Johnny was like he was in the front of the poster and stuff, so I think that's really awesome that he was like kind of front and center of the poster. But the story kind of revolved more around Katana. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I think the character choices for who was the main character was really interesting. Like when you watch a Mortal Kombat movie, it's usually like Liu Kang or Scorpion or a new character like Cole Young. That's the main character. When speaking of Cole Young, I can't wait to talk about what happened with him. Because that was really insane. Um, but yeah, this movie was pretty much about um, Kitana's rise or like Kitana's journey from seeing her father die at a very young age to becoming Outworld's savior, in the tournament. And the Johnny Cage's rise from being this, like Hollywood star who goes from being a kind of like Johnny Cage was portrayed as a old. He was old in this movie, and it makes sense because the actor that was playing as him is, Carl Urban, who's like he's from that series, with Homelander, like it's called like the Boys or something. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Which is a great series. I've seen some scenes from it, and it's really cool. Um, but yeah, so Johnny Cage was basically portrayed as this old, washed-up fighter who he was like a really good fighter when he was young, but he basically became past his prime and he didn't know how to fight anymore, kinda, like he wasn't in the like when he met Raiden and Sonya in that parking lot after he was at a autograph signing, like he was invited to be in the tournament, and he basically I really liked the Johnny's portrayal in the movie, even though I kind of wish they had young Johnny Cage because Johnny Cage is actually my favorite character in the Mortal Kombat series. Like I think he's really cool. Like he basically always has been my favorite, even from when I first started playing the Mortal Kombat games, and because I always found his personality to be really interesting and funny. And Johnny Cage was actually really funny in this scene. Like, for example, when Raiden told him about the tournament, Johnny was like, "Yeah, you both can f off." It was really funny when he said that. So I'm happy Johnny Cage kept the humor. He wasn't portrayed as this you know bitter or angry old guy, which is, yeah, I right now I want to talk about like how I think the characters were portrayed in the film. I think the movie did a great job with certain characters, but also did a kind of worse job with other characters. Like I think characters that were written very well in this movie. I think Kano was really really awesome in this movie. Because he was really funny. When I was at the movie theater to see this film, a lot of scenes that had Kano in them had the audience laugh really hard because, well, because it was funny. It was really funny. And yeah, I really liked Kano's humor. Like for example, when he was resurrected by Quan Chi, he was born without, or he was resurrected, I mean, without his one of his eyes, because obviously in the in the 2021 film he was killed off by Sonya, um because she like stabbed him in the eye or something and he lost his eye. Like it's been a while since I've seen that movie, but I do remember the 2021 movie. uh and this movie also, there were a lot of great characters. Shao Kahn was really great in this film. He really was. um like Shao Kahn felt really powerful. Like for example, in the tournament there were a lot of like fights that Shao Kahn had, where like his skin would like he would be cut or stabbed or something, and his skin would just be placed back together, or like I don't know how to say it better. He was basically immortal. Like I think it was like Shinnok's amulet or something that like he got the powers from it. And I like that Shao Kahn was powerful in this film, because that's the way a final boss is supposed to be, and Shao Kahn was the main boss of this movie. But some characters I feel like were kind of done dirty in this film. I'm not gonna lie. Like for Liu Kang, for example, dude, the way Liu Kang died in this film was really weird. Like, in my opinion, Liu Kang, when it comes to having fights, I think Liu Kang might have the best fight scenes in this film. Like the fight he had with Kung Lao. And by the way, Kung Lao was in this film, and he was resurrected as a revenant because he died in the previous film, obviously. Um, and I think the fight between Liu Kang and Kung Lao was probably my second favorite fight in this film. My favorite fight from this film was actually the fight between Johnny Cage and Baraka. That was a really good fight. And I'm happy, Johnny got to, Johnny was able to get a W in this film. Um, because Johnny was actually in the tournament, and actually this movie was about the tournament, and I think the concept was pretty cool. Like two fighters get teleported into a random area. Like for example, Sonya Blade and Sindel had a fight, and they were both teleported into the. I think that was the bottom of the pit where you get like really you get really those really sharp blades that are like sticking out of the ground. That Sonya and Sindel fight was kind of weird because Sindel lost really easily, and like, isn't Sindel supposed to be one of the most powerful characters in the series? Like that was kind of weird. Like Sonya beat her in a really weird way, and that's it's really weird. I didn't get how Sonya won so easily. Like there was like barely any struggle. Like Jax struggled with Jade more than Sonya struggled with Sindel. And I'm not saying that because I like Sindel. Like I don't really like that character, but like when we're speaking from a logical point of view, I I think Sindel probably should have been tougher for Sonya to beat than it was portrayed as. Um, And I think, yeah, I mean the Katana and Johnny Cage fight was because Johnny Cage. I know like what that they achieved. Like they wanted to portray Johnny Cage as this, washed fighter, and Johnny was kind of a coward in this scene. Like he was running away from Katana and stuff, and saying, like, oh, I don't feel comfortable hitting, a female, whatever. And Johnny, he just, he got beat, and yeah, but I did like the fight that he had with Baraka. That was a really cool fight, like because I mean Johnny was running away from Baraka like in the first half of the fight, but like towards the end when they told Johnny to be more, to kind of remember who he is, he's Johnny effing Cage. He became, really really good at fighting all of a sudden. Like he was dodging Baraka's blades really well, and And he also hit the nut punch in this scene, which was really cool. Like Johnny Cage's nut punch is one of the most iconic moves in Mortal Kombat. It's up there with like Scorpion's Get Over Here and Liu Kang's bicycle kick. Like those are probably the best moves in Mortal Kombat. Um, and I also I think it's really funny how Baraka became cool with Johnny Cage after that fight. Like Johnny earned Baraka's respect because uh, actually Liu Kang was actually the one that wanted to fight Baraka, but Baraka didn't accept his challenge. Baraka was like he accepted the challenge, but he actually wanted Johnny to fight him, which yeah was really cool. I mean, I liked the fight, and I think it's funny how Baraka and Johnny became friends kinda in this movie because Baraka has for the most part he has been a villain in the Mortal Kombat franchise, or he has been like associated with villains, like Shang Tsung and oh yeah, and Shang Tsung was also in this movie. But I'm not gonna lie, Shang Tsung like he didn't really do anything that interesting in this film. Like he was like he gave the amulet to Shao Kahn with Quan Chi that they got from Kano. Um, and what else? They yeah, Shang Tsung basically tried to kill Raiden at the end because Raiden had his throat cut or his neck was he was almost killed because Kung Lao's hat sliced his throat, and it was really that was a really weird scene because Raiden getting killed off almost that easily. It's it's pretty weird. Um, and I think yeah, other characters like Scorpion. Scorpion was in this movie, but he wasn't really there that much. Like Scorpion only showed up at the end to fight Noob Saibot, and yeah, Noob Saibot was in this movie because Sub Zero he died in the previous film. Oh, and obviously that's how it always is in the Mortal Kombat games too. Like Bihan dies as a Sub-Zero to Scorpion, and then he becomes Noob Saibot. So there wasn't really there was no Sub-Zero in this film, uh, which honestly I can it makes sense because he died in the previous film to Scorpion. Oh, and Cole Young, I want to talk about Cole Young. So Cole Young, it's pretty funny how he went from being the main character of the previous film in 2021, and dude, in this movie he died so easily to Shao Kahn. Like he fought Shao Kahn in the tournament, and Cole Young is actually the first hero to die in this film. How the hell do you go from being the main character in the first film and then you and then you get killed off by Shao Kahn's hammer like halfway through the movie? It was really funny. And yeah, so but I'm honestly happy that they did that because Cole Young was not really he was not really a likable character to me. He was really boring, and I wish Johnny Cage was in the first film instead of him. And a death that really annoyed me was Jax. Jax died in this film, which was which sucked because I really liked his personality in this movie. Um, I really liked his personality in this movie. Jax was really likable. Like he was really loyal to the heroes and stuff, and to Raiden and to Sonya and to Johnny and to Liu Kang. And oh, and speaking of Liu Kang, yeah, Liu Kang's death was honestly, it was more funny than it was, sad because, it was like the final battle, and there were two separate battle towards the end of the movie. It was, on one hand, it was Johnny Cage, Kano, and Scorpion were teaming up in the Nether Realm to fight Noob Saibot because their goal was to, crush the amulet, the Shinnok's amulet, and yeah, that was basically their goal. Um, Kano basically joined up with the heroes for some reason to, get the Shinnok's amulet destroyed and also beat Noob Saibot. And yeah, Johnny Cage became really powerful in this scene. That's where he got his green energy and did the shadow kick, which was a really, really cool moment. Um, and also there was the final battle with in the tournament with Shao Kahn, um, where Shao Kahn fought Liu Kang and Sonya. Sonya Blade was really overpushed in this film, in my opinion, because like she beat a character like Sindel, and then is in the finals of the tournament with Shao Kahn and Liu Kang. I mean, I get it, like Sonya is a OG character, so they want to push her. But to be honest, I kind of wish Johnny was the one that made it to the finals of the tournament and beat Shao Kahn, because the final battle, which Liu Kang was like, yeah, my goal is to, I'm not the chosen one. Raiden told me that or something. And honestly, I don't get that, because when did Raiden ever say that? I can't remember any scenes where Raiden was like, "Yeah, you're not the chosen one, Liu Kang," because Liu Kang is always the chosen one in pretty much every story. So I don't get it. That didn't make much sense to me. So yeah, like Liu Kang basically, like he started to, levitate. He turned into, fire, and he just levitated and disappeared. That was very weird, but it was kind of funny too, because it was so random. And then suddenly Kitana says that, like Outworld has basically won the tournament, but then Kitana appears and says that, she's not representing Outworld in the tournament, even though she literally fought Johnny Cage earlier, who is from Earthrealm. So and then it turned into the final battle, Kitana versus Shao Kahn. Obviously, Shao Kahn was beating her ass at the start, but then suddenly Kitana remembered her father's death in the first scene, where who fought Shao Kahn and died to Shao Kahn in a very brutal way. Yeah, this movie was really brutal. Like a lot of like gory and bloody and very insane scenes. Um, and I guess it did its job. I mean, that's Mortal Kombat. It's violent and it's brutal. And Shao Kahn's death in the finals, in the final scene, was really insane. Like Kitana basically used her hair tie or whatever to like wrap Shao Kahn's arms. Like that's a move Kitana did at the beginning of the movie, and did her like did her scene where she said like you everything is a weapon or something. And then what else? Yeah, she basically sliced Shao Kahn's head into three pieces, like an apple or something. That was insane. Um, and yeah, and that's how Shao Kahn died. Um, and I get, my favorite moments from the movie, I guess, were Johnny Cage's, moment where he became, when he fought Baraka, and also when he, did the shadow kick to Noob Saibot, which Johnny Cage technically got the win over Noob Saibot, but Noob Saibot was really powerful in this movie, because it took Scorpion, Kano, Jade, and Johnny Cage to stop him. So that's really cool. Um, and yeah, scenes that I didn't really like were, I wish Shao Kahn's death would have been more creative, honestly, instead of just, like Katana's hair thing beats him, which is really insane. Jade was bold in this movie, which is really weird. Jax's death was really disturbing, and I didn't like watching Jax die, getting stabbed in the neck by Shao Kahn's hammer. Uh, Cole Young's death was deserved because of how boring he was as a character. Nothing against the actor, but the character is just lame. And I heard they're already filming the third movie, which I think Shinnok is gonna be the main final boss of that movie, which makes sense. So I hope it's gonna be a good movie. I think this movie was honestly really fun. I really liked it. And the final scene where like all the heroes like Raiden and Raiden, by the way, he survived the next slice. You know, when Johnny beat Noob Saibot and like he used lightning to destroy Shang Tsung. It was wow. It was really rushed, I think, but you know, it is what it is. But I was at the movie theater for this movie. I was actually there to watch it on the premiere, you know, so I really enjoyed it. It was a fun movie. I think it was better than the 2021 movie. And I, from us on a scale from 0 to 10, I think I would give this movie a solid 8. Like I really enjoyed it. I think it was great. It was just fun to watch the you know characters that from Mortal Kombat that I grew up with, like Johnny and Shao Kahn and Liu Kang and Raiden and Scorpion. You know, so a lot of great characters in this movie. Um, some characters, you know, could have been treated better. Some could have been treated, maybe were given a bit too much spotlight, like Katana and Sonya, especially. But other than that, I think the movie was pretty fun. You know, I really had a fun watching this movie. So yeah, this was my review for Mortal Kombat 2. Really fun film, and yeah, when the movie was over, it was really cool how they played the Mortal Kombat song. You know that's a really OG song, really badass. You know. So yeah, this was my review of the film. My I guess my critique of the film, you know, saying things I liked and didn't like. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to the next movie. You know, I hope it's better. I hope it's even better than this one, but I don't know if it's going to be better. But we'll see. So thanks for watching. Peace out. Like, subscribe. Goodbye. Finish him.